Oh, okay.
Hey, using these books again. Any questions so far? Is that clear? I mean, of course, there are details of halachas, but we're covering just the general. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam. What? We're up to in the book. We really started page, we're up to 75, page 75.
75?
Yeah. Okay. One more thing that I wanted to show you. So how does it all come together? The lulav, the esrog, the hadassim, they're supposed to be bound together. So we take this off. We take this apart. It's made up of two. And we do this. And then we wrap it around here. We put the hadassim here, lulav here, haravos, and then we tie it around. And in this ring, like this, tighten this.
It can't be made, it can't be binded with like material.
We don't use material or band-aids, not band-aids, rubber bands or string. We should use the lulav itself, so everything is connected, right?
I remember it doesn't stay together so well.
It doesn't stay together well.
When I was younger, I remember like it kind of falling apart, especially like the lulav would fall out a little.
I think it has to do with the one who puts it together. In other words, you have to make it tight and put it together in a proper way to show the whole part. Usually, after, this is enough to get everything in, and then you go around again, or you stick it in, and you make sure that it doesn't fall out. As you walk down Kingston, you see little kids with tables, and they're making business. They're selling these things because it takes time till you make it, right? So they have ready-made pieces, and they sell them for, I don't know, a quarter a piece or something. And really, it could be very helpful, especially someone who has a number of lulav masrek in his family. He needs 5. How many do you need? So the way it works is you tie this together with 3 over here. 3. And there are 2 more. One is over here, one a little bit over the top. So the 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. How far up do you go? How far down do you go? The answer is you take the Hadassim and Arabas, they usually reach up to this point, and that's where you put these. Where the Hadassim and Arabas end, you put 2 more, one here and one a little bit higher. I mean, they both should be covered with Hadassim. Now, you probably learned in the class with Mrs. Cohen that the Hadassim and the Arabas, the 4 kinds, I just spoke about in the other level. You know, the 4 kinds represents different kinds of Jews. So the Arabos represent those that have no smell, no taste, which means no Torah, no mitzvahs. So the custom is that we put this on in such a way that the Arabos should be hidden by the Hadassim.
So if such a Jew that has no Torah and no mitzvahs?
Is there such a Jew?
Yeah,
Unfortunately, there are some Jews.
but even if you're not observant consciously, you observe Torah and mitzvahs in a subconscious.
Right,
way.
relatively speaking, they're not consciously observing Torah mitzvahs.
That's.
Or even people that are, you can go a step higher. There are those that observe Torah mitzvahs properly and those that they're not so much into Torah and mitzvahs, they're more into business and other things. And then you have people who are dedicated to Torah, not so much to mitzvahs, even though they observe mitzvahs. Then there are people who are dedicated to mitzvahs, but they don't really study they're not academic, they don't study Torah. So everything is relative, depends what level it is. But because the Arabas represent the lowest category, make a point to cover it. It shouldn't stand out. And of course, the more Hadassim you have, the easier it is to cover the Arabas. So it shouldn't stand out. So the mitzvah is basically just to take it, you take it, automatically this has 3 already, then you take the esrog. Let me show you how to do it. I'm missing the main point. Now, what bracha do you make for a mitzvah that comes around once a year? Shechiyanu. So for the Lulav and the Esrog, we also make a Shechiyanu, which means the first day we're going to be making 2 brachas, and the other day is only 1 bracha. So the way we do it is we take, again, do you have Siddurim in front of you? You have a Siddur in front of you? No? You do it when you're standing, not sitting. We take the lulav in the right hand, right? How do you hold it? This way, that way? You have to hold the way that the spine is facing you. This is the spine, and this is sort of the back. This is the front, it is the spine, this is the back. This should be facing you. And it's in the book here, by the way, on page, go to page 78. I'm reading from the 2nd paragraph. When we make the bracha, which is the first bracha, where do you have the bracha in the siddur? So you know where you have halal? Wherever you have halal, on that page you'll find the bracha for the lulav and the esrog. And the reason is because some people have a custom that they make the bracha for the lulav and the esrog right before halal. Also, if you didn't do it in the morning and you go to shul to daven, then the time to do it is take a break before halal and make the bracha there. So in this siddur, you'll find the bracha for the lulav and the esrog on the same page as you have halal. So you make the bracha standing. You make the first bracha, which is Asher Kishanim Mitzvos V'Tzivanu Al Netivas Lulav. Give us the mitzvah for doing the lulav. After we make that bracha, we pick up the esrog. When you pick up the esrog, you have to make sure that the point is pointing upwards, not the other way around. You want the brachas to be the right way, not upside down, pointing outward. And we hold this in the right hand, and we hold the esrog in the left hand. Right? And then our custom is that we see to it that the top part of the esrog, which is this, we tilt it a little bit, should be touching the lulav like this. You hold it together and you just shake it. By doing that, you've observed the mitzvah. When you see people doing extra things, remember it's extra. So the extra is that you shake it to the right, shake it to the left, you shake it forward, then up, then down, then back. So it's basically right, left, forward, up, down. But this is not an obligation. This is just the extra part. The mitzvah itself is just to shake it. But don't shake it hard because you might shake everything out of the lulav. Be nothing left. So you see now the way it's like this. It won't be this way on Yom Tov because we're putting a ring here that will hold it tighter together. It'll still shake, but it won't. But if you shake it too strong, you might cause this to split, and that's what we don't want. If somebody says, you want to bench on my lulav and esrog, what people usually do is the first thing is they check, just to make sure that the lulav is kosher. How do they check? They look at the top to see it's not split. Okay. The second day, we only make the bracha on the lulav. We don't make shechianu. So again, as we start the bracha, we have the lulav in our right hand, and as we're finishing, we pick up the esrog in the left hand. By the end of the bracha, you bring them both together and you shake it. But initially, you hold one in your right hand, one in your left hand, hold them apart.
Jesse,
Yeah.
does it matter if you're left-handed or not?
The matter if you're left-handed, probably left-handed person will take it in the left hand. Yeah. Yeah, they say, number 4, someone who's left-handed should take the lulav in his left hand and the esrog in his right hand, the opposite, because that's your right hand. So basically, when you shake it to the right or the left, that's providing that you're facing east. Like in the shul, you're facing east. And if you're in a house, where's east in Crown Heights?
That way, no?
That way.
I can check.
I think it would facing Albany. If you live here, you just say facing Albany, facing Utica, facing those
East?
streets.
Brooklyn is east.
That way.
Brooklyn is east.
Exactly this.
I can't do it.
That
way.
way.
We do it from north.
No, Albany is that way.
The
east is that way.
Right, that way.
Like 100% this way.
This way,
I would be nice.
Okay, hope you don't get lost in the desert.
East.
I'm lost.
Now, this is not done by women, only men do this. And that is that during the davening, we also shake the lulav and esrog in certain parts. And those parts are the hollow, by hollow, we shake it in certain parts. The other thing which is done by the men, I think maybe Mrs. Cohn spoke about it, is shyness. Did you speak about it? That after hollow, we take the lulav and the esrog, and we circle the bima in the shul, the center, which we read the Torah from, we circle that and we say certain prayers. So women don't do the circling, but if you're in shul, you can say the Hashanas with everybody else. Because it says in the Chumash, "Ulakachtem lochem," you should take to you, we learn from that it must belong to you. Which means the lulav and esrog has to be your personal possession. So what if you don't have your own lulav and esrog? So the person who gives it to you should give it to you as it should become yours. But they're allowed to give it to you in a way to say, I'm giving it to you on the condition that you'll give it back to me. And temporarily, it'll be yours. Those who live in the dorm, so I'm going to bring over a lulav and esrog. That lulav and esrog is yours. It belongs to everybody and anybody from the community that wants to back to lulav and esrog. So it's all the girls living in the dorm, girls who live in an apartment, whoever wants to come over, it belongs to them in the first place. citizen. The first day Yom Tov, it says it should be more specific. First of all, the first day Yom Tov, the man should bless on the lulav and esrog himself first before he gives it to his wife and his children, especially the children, because they're minors. So they can't give it back to you. Once you give it to the child, it doesn't belong to you anymore. So it might be questionable. So first you bench yourself, and then you give it to others to bench. The second day doesn't matter so much. Shabbos, we don't bench lulav and esrog. Also, I think I should just mention, how do I keep it fresh? We skipped it, there's something here about putting it into water. Look at page 77.
What?
Page 77. On Yom Tov, we're allowed to, a lot of people keep the lulav in a vase with water, like flowers, and it keeps it fresh. So you're allowed to return the lulav in the vase of water, and even allowed to add more water, but you're not allowed to change the water. During the days of Chol Hamoed, you're allowed to change the water, so it stays fresh. Okay.
We just shouldn't touch it on Shabbos.
What? Right, you don't touch it on Shabbos. I mean, the reason why we don't use it on Shabbos is the same reason why we don't blow shofar on Shabbos, we don't read the Megillah on Shabbos, is because of this reason that we're afraid that you might touch it, you might end up forgetting and carry it outside. So therefore, on Shabbos, you're not supposed to touch it. It's like muktzah. Okay, so I think now we can go to page 89. Did Rabbi Baris go into the difference between Shabbos and Yom Tov, that there are different halachas? Yom Tov you're allowed to carry, you know that? Yom Tov you're allowed to light a candle. But it's a little bit confusing. You're not allowed to create fire on Yom Tov. You can't strike a match. If there's a fire that's already lit, you can light another fire. You're allowed to cook on Yom Tov. You're allowed to put food on the fire to warm up and to cook. You're allowed to cook up water on Yom Tov, to have cooked water for coffee or tea. You're just not allowed to create fire, but if there's already fire, you can cook on the fire. And you can carry on Yom Tov. Other than that, you're not allowed to do other malachas. Yeah.
Isn't it that on Yom Tov you can only carry what you need? Like you can't just carry anything else, be like what you need.
Generally speaking, it's initially it wasn't that way, but then the halacha evolved that because you can carry things that you need, so get to carry anything that you don't need. So we're not specific to make. I mean, some people are very stringent. Everything they carry, they make sure I must need it and I can't manage without it. But we're generally relaxed with that. You can carry anything. Okay, now we're on page 89 about the laws of Chol Hamoed. So Monday and Tuesday is Yom Tov. Yom Tov means it has the same laws of Shabbos, except for the fact that you can cook and bake, and you can have things. You can make light candles. Just not allowed to create fire. You can carry it and so on. Generally speaking, the things we're permitted to do is because we're permitted to cook on Yom Tov, so we're also permitted other things which help us for cooking. As a result of that, these things became permitted. What's Chol Hamoed? Chol Hamoed are the other days, which means in this year, this would be Thursday, Friday, and Sunday.
Wednesday, no?
A Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, yes. Yeah. The Chagim itself is Monday and Tuesday,
Monday, Tuesday
and
night.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. Chol HaMoed means it's mundane and it's also yontif. It's like a mixture. It's a yontif, but yet you're allowed to do anything you can do during the week. Generally speaking, you can handle money, you can buy and sell, you can travel, you can talk on the telephone, you can do all the things. But there are certain things that you shouldn't do on Chol HaMoed. And I would just say that some people are sort of dismissive of Chol HaMoed. They don't look at it like, oh, it's only Chol HaMoed, you can do whatever you want. You have to remember, it still is part of the yontif, and we should act that way, dress in a more yontif way, and not to desecrate this day and make it as an ordinary day. So first of all, no, he doesn't talk about what you're allowed to do, not allowed to do. No, it must be somewhere here. Let me just check. You don't do laundry on Chol HaMoed unless you have to. You shouldn't really do laundry. Shouldn't take haircuts on Chol HaMoed. The Chol HaMoed is yontif, so when you daven, how is the davening different? The Chol HaMoed? So Shachris is the same like a weekday, except that you say hello. And Musaf, we do that Musaf every day. That's how you see that it's a yontif, Musaf. And we do the Musaf of the festivals every day. And in Shachris or in benching, we say Ya'aleh V'Yavo, the special prayer for holidays. Yeah.
Can someone go to the doctor on Chol HaMoed?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can travel anywhere on Chol HaMoed, not a problem. Travel, use the phone, use it. Writing is also something which a person shouldn't use pen and paper to write unless it's something that they actually need to, or something that if I don't do today, I might forget to do tomorrow, I might lose something because of it, so you're allowed to write. Now, the last day of these Chol HaMoed days is Sunday. Sunday has its own name. It's called Hoshana Rabbah. Why is it Hoshana Rabbah? Because every day after the Hallel, we say a prayer called Hoshana, and we circle the Bimah. On that day, it's called the Great Hoshana, the Big Hoshana. And there's a special segment in the Siddur of what to say on that day.
It's the last day of the last Chol HaMoed.
Last day of Chol HaMoed. And on that day, it's also sort of the last day of judgment. In a sense, the judgment ended on Yom Kippur, but then it sort of continues and it's finally finalized on Hoshana Rabbah in some ways. So Hoshana Rabbah, we have a custom. The men have this custom, but Baruch Hashem, women do everything men do, so women do the same thing. They're up at night, they say Tehillim. The custom on Hoshana Rabbah is for the men to say the whole Chumash Dvarim, and to be up and to say the entire Tehillim. It starts at 1 o'clock, and we say Tehillim. It finishes by 2:30 or 3. There's also a custom, just like every Yom Kippur, you give out honey cake. The night of Hoshana Rabbah, in the shul, people give out sweet apples with honey. So what they do, they have these little honey bags. Like you have bags of ketchup, you have bags of salt, bags of sugar. There's also little things of honey. So they give out a sweet apple with honey. Again, wishing everybody a sweet year because it says the judgment is finalized on Hoshana Rabbah. So we say the whole Chumash Devarim up until midnight. At midnight, which is about 1 o'clock, we start saying Tehillim. During the day, we have a special meal. And there's one special food we eat by that meal. Anyone know what it is? What? Just like we eat kreplach.
Hoshana Rabbah.
Right. Before Yom Kippur, we also eat Hoshana Rabbah. Now, there's one part of the custom. The davening is a lot of davening, and it's a lot to say. But the one part of the custom which we should all do is it's called hishainus, which means the same exact thing that we use for our ravos. They take 5 of them, they bind it together, and you take these 5 hishainus. This is a custom that was introduced by the prophets. Thank you. This was the season of the lulav and the esrog and the hadassim and the ravos. It's getting to me. Yeah. Allergies. So the custom of the prophets was to take 5 of these things, bind it together, and we slap it on the floor 5 times. And in the siddur, I'll tell you what page it is in the siddur that you say a certain part of the prayer. Again, Chana, you have a siddur with you?
Yes.
Let me look at your siddur and tell everybody where to find it in that siddur. Thank you. It's right before the Hakafis, because the Shana Rabbah comes right before Simchas Torah. So let's see where it is. And this siddur, there's a lot to say, but I think what you should say is just do this part. Again, they'll be selling it all over the streets. They usually sell it for $5, for $4, $3. And in the siddur that I just got, you would say the page 382. All these prayers are a lot about Mashiach and about the redemption. The word Hoshayna in Hebrew means Hashem, bring us salvation. I would say, if you can, start from page 381, which is the last part of all these pages of prayers. And it basically starts with the words, Koil Mavasav is a voice of the herald bringing good tidings and proclaims. And it's all about the voice we're going to hear that Mashiach is coming. The voice is going to say, your beloved is coming. The voice is going to say that when they're going to hear the big shofar, the voice is going to say this, the voice is going to say that, and so on and so forth. At the end, we take you'll see, follow the instruction until you take this and you slap it on the floor. And then there's a special prayer that you say after you do it on the floor, you're asking Hashem that everything that's supposed to be drawn down through the lulav, through the esrog, through the hadassim, through the ravos, we should have the merit that should also be drawn down into the world, and to me specifically bring me all the brachas that it's supposed to bring. So in this siddur is page 381 and 382. Thank you, Chana.
Something painful.
She's good.
Okay, so now Hoshana Rabbah, we have the meal of the afternoon. And the last time we say the prayer, the David Hashem Ori, we started at Rosh Chodesh Elul, is on Mincha Hoshana Rabbah. That's the last time we say it. After that, we don't say it anymore until the next year. Now, in the class that I gave the other day about Simchas Torah, let me remind you again, the halacha part is that on Shmini Atzeres, we eat in the sukkah, but we don't make the bracha anymore. In fact, there are many people that don't even eat in the sukkah. So we do eat, but we don't make a bracha because we're not obligated anymore. See, Shmini Atzeres is an interesting day. It's called the 8th day Atzeres, which means on one hand, it's the 8th day of Sukkot. On the other hand, it's a yontiv in itself. And that's why when you light the candles, you make shechianu all over again, because it's really a new yontiv. And this yontiv was celebrating the Torah. Does anyone know the reason? Why do we celebrate the Torah now? We should be celebrating the Torah when we got it on Shavuos. That's when we got the Torah. What?
Because that's the time when we finish the Torah.
Right, so why don't we finish the Torah on Shavuos? If that's
Because that's the day when we got the Torah, but
we got the Torah on Shavuos.
Yeah.
So that should be the right time to start and finish the end of the year.
Really, we do celebrate if we have like.
Right, but why don't we read the Torah starting from Shavuos and finishing on Shavuos? And all this dancing and celebrating because we finished the Torah should be Shavuos time.
Oh, I know.
Whoever gets the right answer will be right.
It's in the lab.
What?
I said whoever gets the right answer will be right. Yep.
Maybe to not take away from like, I'm not like to separate like finishing the Torah and getting the Torah.
To make a separation,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
why do we want to make a separation?
So that we don't like forget either or don't like.
Mhm.
do-
Maybe, could be. But I'll tell you a simpler answer. We actually just got the Torah. On Yom Kippur, we got the Torah a second time, right?
I see.
So now the question is, so why do we celebrate that we got the second time, not the first time? And the answer is because when you get the Torah and you get it taken away from you, and then you get it back, there's no greater joy than that. In other words, the joy that comes after tshuva is so much greater than the joy that you have for something that you just took it for granted. So we did get the Torah. In a sense, it's almost like, we know when we got the Torah, like a wedding between Hashem and the Jewish people. And after the wedding, there are Sheva brachas. So that's what this is. We got the Torah in Yom Kippur. And now we're celebrating 7 days of the marriage between us and Hashem. In fact, it says in the times of the Beis Hamikdash, there were 2 days a year, which was designated for shidduchim. You ever read about it, learn about it, that the girls would go out and dance in the vineyards, and the young men would choose a bride. It's in Gemara. And of course, today is different. We have other halachas today that men aren't allowed to watch girls dancing. These are all the halachas that were added later when people became sort of weaker spiritually. They had to introduce more halachas. In those days, it was permissible. The girls would be dancing. And there's a lot of details of how it was done, but it was done 2 times a year. One is on the 15th of Av, and the other is on Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, because the Yom Kippur is a shidduch between Hashem and the Jewish people. It's our wedding date, so that's the appropriate time for the shidduchim between men and women in the Jewish nation. So now that we got the Torah, and especially after the fact that the first set was broken, it's taken away from us, we had to do tshuva, the joy and the excitement and the love that we have for it after it was taken away from us, the second time is so much greater than the first time, and that's why the rejoicing is so much more. So the first day, which is going to be a week from this Monday, Shmini Atzeres, we eat in the sukkah without a bracha. The second day, which is Tuesday week from this Tuesday, we're going to not eat in the sukkah. Then we go back to the house and we don't eat in the sukkah anymore. Okay. So I mentioned that the Torah scrolls that we read on Simchas Torah, we take 3 Torah scrolls, one with which we finish the Torah, and the same day we begin the new cycle all over again. We start reading from Bereshis, and the custom is that every man should be called up to the Torah, Simchas Torah. Amir Hashem will be married, will have children. You should know that the custom is little boys, even tiny little boys, even babies, are taken to shul to get called up to the Torah. How could a baby get called up to the Torah? How could a 1-year-old get called up to the Torah? The answer is that the father gets called up, and they also called up the baby by his name and his mother and his father's name. He doesn't make the bracha, obviously, but the father makes the bracha for the baby. So during the year, who gets called up to the Torah in the shul? Either someone who's a chassan, or someone who's a respectable person, or some other reason why they need to get called up, sometimes before a birthday, before a yard site. But in Simchas Torah, every single man must get an aliyah, And that's why they have hundreds of little minyanim all reading from the Torah, so everyone gets an opportunity to have an aliyah. I know you're thinking, how do they do it in 770? So the answer is there's another exception we do on Simchas Torah. Normally, one person gets called up to the reading. On Simchas Torah, you can call up 10, 20, 30 people together in one shot. So in Simchas Torah, it's like 500 people, 600 people. Everyone stands in their place, and from the distance, they make a bracha on the Torah. The person next to me calls me up, I call him up, and we all make the bracha on the Torah, and we get called up. Yeah, someone just raised their hand to have something?
I was gonna ask that.
What?
I was gonna ask how they do it.
Yeah, how do they do it? Now, there's a halacha that's important to know because it starts before school starts again. And that is, remember I told you that on Shmini Atzeres, we make a special, let's say a special prayer for rain. And once we say that prayer, we change something in the davening. In Shmon Esrei, we say, Morid Atol, Hashem brings dew into the world. We change it to Mashav Aruach and Morid HaGeshem, which means now Hashem brings wind and brings rain into the world. So once that day begins, we change the Shmon Esrei, and we say every day, Mashav Aruach Morid HaGeshem. Of course, there are laws. What if I forgot? What if I remembered here, remember there? These are too many details, but the general thing is to make that bracha.
That's the part that says like winter, right?
Right, it says this is
Summer,
a winter. But there are two parts of Shemona Esrei that says winter. One, in the beginning of Shemona Esrei, is we start now. The second part is in the middle, where we're asking for everything that grows should grow successfully. And over there's also summer and winter. That we don't start now, not in America. In Israel, they start on the 7th day of Cheshvan. Any place outside of Israel, we start on December 5th.
December 5th?
Yeah, it goes by the sun, yeah,
Wow.
by the season, yeah.
Okay.
That's what it says in Shulchan Aruch, December 5th.
Is it always December 5th, even like in leap year or something?
I think it's usually December 5th, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes in a leap year, you're right, it could be December 6th. Actually, it says it's the last year before a leap year that it's going to be the 6th. I know very little, I hardly know Earth. I very little know about the sun and the moon. The moon I know a little bit more about, but not the sun. Anyway, this is an overview of the halachas. And I know it's impossible to teach all the halachas, but the purpose of teaching halachas is at least to know when to ask a question about a halacha. Now, I'll tell you an interesting story that I just had in my house that someone made us aware, hey, where you build your sukkah, there's a tree on top. A good thing to find out a few days before sukkahs. You call people who cut trees, yeah, we'll come down in December, we'll cut your tree down in December, it's a little bit too late. You know, it's like they tell the story that there was once a town where the nobleman who owned the place was an anti-Semite, and he said that these sukkahs, they cause a lot of dirt and filth, it's not good, you gotta take it down. And it was a court case, and the judge ruled, I give you 8 days to take this thing down. Great, that's all I need, is 8 days to take it down. So if someone's gonna come chop my tree down or chop a branch down, a few months from now, it's not gonna help me. I need a sukkah today. So we asked the Rav, and he said something very interesting. And that is wherever the tree is covering, it sort of cancels out the schach. The schach is not counting because something that's attached to the ground can be used as a sukkah. And if it covers the schach is not valid. But if your sukkah will still have more shade than sun with the schach, then it's kosher. Follow that? The determining factor whether a sukkah is kosher is if there's more shade than sun. If without that schach, if you don't count it, you still have more shade than sun, then your sukkah is kosher. Okay, I want to wish everybody a happy Sukkot, happy Simchas Torah, happy Shmini Atzeres. and everything should go smooth and easy. And as you know, that a Yontif is not just a day that we perform mitzvahs, we also draw a tremendous amount of spiritual strength. And every Yontif gives us spiritual strength in a different way. Rosh Hashanah gives us one thing, Yom Kippur gives us another thing. Sukkot is mainly simcha. We draw strength to be b'simcha. So down the line, any time of the year that we need to be b'simcha, we get the strength for that on Simcha story. So take advantage of the time and draw as much simcha as you can for the year in your bank account. Okay.
Amen, 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 amen.
Can I smell the
Yes.
No. You're not allowed. Hannah, my mom sent me some stuff from. My friend, she came and I brought her back to the apartment and I gave it.
Oh, what do you want from you?
I don't know, to be honest, because
Like I
I
can't
was
Wrap
asking
it
for.
with the plastic, very careful.
Trying to get like half of my.
In Odessa, my father did Arba Minim for everyone in our
In the
community.
community.
So I helped him, and it was
Yeah.
boys, and I gave them food, and like
Oh,
I
wow.
helped them.
Very nice. It's one of the big mitzvahs of the Rebbe. I think it's the first of all the Rebbe's mitzvahs to make sure that other people do it. Yeah.
He did it, like
You're like, why are you so?
Nice.
Arba Minim,
Okay,
love.
very nice.
Oh, yeah, I remember this little. That's nice, and there's a tree.
But I mean, it's kind of professional actually. I know, right? What do you think of this?
I don't know, like, how bad is the neck line?
She's 5'3".
So you, models that you help, they're really.
That was nice.
Long sleeves are kind of showing.
Right. But sometimes it can be a little close. I love this one.
That was professional.
Yeah. I hate the neckline on it. I wouldn't get it, but
Is it not that one?
it's flat. It's so weird. This is not professional. Ooh.
Such a little airline type.
I know, I guess. It's okay, this is fine. It's cute bottom. This is nice. Very professional, very dark. I think it's because she doesn't have a lot of confidence, but. I know,
It's regards to me especially. I thought the color.
Colors just very,
No, I just think that's why.
No, as she dresses. me,
I
she's
like
yeah,
dark
confident.
colors.
I'm not saying dark color, okay, I was talking specifically about my mother, please don't think
I
it's.
would say that she'll get her confidence.
Look, this is pretty. Look at this one's pretty.
All the colorful water ones, say yes to.
Seriously, good quality. Oh, she's texting me, that's why it's going on. One more.
Wait, what's that white one? I like that one.
For work?
I don't like that, no, I don't like the gas special.
Yeah, I think it's just really notwithstanding, but I know. Well, she would wear a shirt underneath the high neckline.
You're sure?
I don't know how high the shirt is. My mom puts like a thing under her neckline, but it's still not like, it's like kind of.
I think she would just buy a shell, I would just like show them on Amazon.
Really, because they're those things that you don't know.
She likes polka dot stuff. This is not professional, Mom.
It looks like a cardigan.
This is fine. But they said she's allowed to wear
So she's allowed to wear upper elbows. She has one of those photos.
I don't think that that's like age appropriate for a mother.
Oh, she.
Oh, fine.
Does it count youthful?
Wait, how do I turn it off?
I think you can do that.
Oh. Right.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Since we got our features. Okay.
This is your one. Wait, you're posting it on Zoom? Turn it on. Number 5.
Should I say end meeting for all or leave meeting?
We do. Where's your mark? Oh, it's like,
Where's the mark is a place.
Can't do that.